Hello and welcome back to another episode of More Than a Business Live. I am your host, Mitch Case. I am also the co-founder of More Than a Meal, where we help organizations strengthen their relationships with employees and clients by showing gratitude and appreciation one meal at a time. The reason I started this show over 6 months ago was the opportunity to highlight amazing individuals and amazing companies that are truly doing business right and truly become more than just a business, more than the bottom line. And ultimately, a lot of these conversations start talking about the people that they are blessed to serve. So I'm incredibly grateful not only for the continued audience that comes in and watches this right now while we're live, as well as those that come in a little bit later. But I also do need to give a shout out to our loyal sponsor, True Captive. They believe in healthcare that is personal and insurance that is not complicated. I know each of us would absolutely love to have a not complicated insurance, healthcare insurance. So if you do want to learn more about their unique captive healthcare program, go on over to truecaptive.com. You can shoot me a message as well. I can get you introduced to somebody over there. But very appreciative of them continuing to sponsor this show as they truly believe in organizations that are more than a business as well. Before we jump into the show, we're based out of Kansas City, and I think everybody at this point understands what happened in Kansas City yesterday, which was supposed to be just an amazing day to celebrate Super Bowl champions, Kansas City Chiefs, and unfortunately, there was a mass shooting that happened. And speaking from a father perspective, a parent perspective, a Kansas City perspective, my heart is just broken for those that are impacted by this. So I often say prayers and thoughts just aren't enough anymore. And I'm not going to get into a political rant on this by any means, but I just want to let everybody know, I truly am a proud Kansas Citian, and this is not Kansas City. And I look forward to seeing what opportunities come to where we can help protect our children and our community as we want to get back out and go to these amazing events to celebrate things that are truly awesome. So I'm going to stop with that. But we're just truly heartbroken here in Kansas City. And I feel for and am thinking about a lot of those families that were impacted yesterday during the victory parade. So with that, I do want to now introduce our guest today. I'm incredibly excited because when we first had our conversation, it was just like, it clicks. It's one of those conversations that was supposed to be 10 minutes and went on for an hour almost. But Scott is our next guest, and Scott is now the marketing director at Northstar Properties. And you might be thinking, marketing director, what does he have to do with culture? What does he have to do with caring for the people? Well, we're going to talk a lot about that today because he has had a huge influence on what that looks like in the real estate space. So I'm going to get off of here and let him talk more about himself in here right now. So Scott, hey, thanks for coming on the show today. I'm incredibly grateful to have you on the show, man.
Yeah, absolutely. I appreciate it.
Yeah. Well, hey, why don't you give us a quick high level, remind us who you are and what you do within Northstar, and then we'll dive into the impact story after that.
Sure. Yeah. So I'm the marketing director here at Northstar Properties. We're based in Norman, Oklahoma. We're a multifamily management company. So we manage about 13, 14 properties. I do the marketing. I oversee all the marketing for all those properties, and also kind of help manage some of the employee relations side of it too. So that's kind of what I do here. I've been here for a little over a year now, and it's been amazing.
Well, I appreciate you just kind of giving us clarity and kind of where you're at. And we'll definitely dive back into some of those things. But what we always like to do is just kind of dive right into that impact story. And before I do that, I forgot to let people know as they are tuning in live, go ahead and let us know in the comments if you're tuning in from LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube, where you're at. If you're in Oklahoma or Missouri, Kansas, or even if you're coming in from another country, which we have gone international now, Scott. I'm not sure if you knew that or not, but
I'm aware now.
shoot a message in the comments. We'll definitely give you a shout out and a highlight. And speaking of, we've already got one here. So Jody says you're a fantastic leader, innovative, and forward thinking. So Jody, thank you so much for tuning in. Scott, let's go ahead and talk about an impact story. So what's something that you have done or Northstar has done to have a direct impact on maybe a team member, potentially a tenant, or even a community member?
Yeah, I mean, so the impact story that I like to tell the most is closest to me. We run apartments. So we're part of the National Apartment Association and our local association here in Oklahoma City. So with them, donate our time, and we're part of some of the charities that they have there. One of them that's really close to me is Leah's Baskets, and so as
Mm.
an individual with the company, I donate my time and go to the hospital, and we donate baskets through that charity. But as far as the company itself, they do back our employees for coming and helping, and also, as far as donations, it's not so much a cash donation; it's supplies that we need and helping, you know, build those baskets that we give to the children, and it's been a really good, impactful, like for me, especially because I get to go into the hospitals and like help deliver these and see the faces and the reaction of these kids. It's and getting the backing of a company that allows me to kind of donate my time, and employees, as far as at the property, donate their time, and because they're
Yeah.
paying for the time.
Oh, absolutely. Just to clarify, like what are the baskets that you're talking about? Are these like
Yeah,
food
so
baskets? What does
no,
that look like?
so it depends on the season. So we do it about 4 times a year.
Okay.
So recently just did Valentine's Day. So we had a local, the Oklahoma Local Sewing Association. They sewed heart baskets.
All right.
So with the donations that we get from the community, from multifamily communities, and from outside businesses, we pack them with coloring books, we pack them with crayons, stuffies, just stuff that all ages from infants all the way up to adults need to have a better day at the hospital. It's a
Yeah.
bad situation that they're in, and if you can go and just help them out for 1 hour, that they get to open a basket. And so we try to do that as much as we can. And like I said, from the donations of our company here at Northstar, but hundreds of other individuals and companies throughout Oklahoma that help our apartment association out in Leah's Baskets.
Yeah. And I want to kind of point out, like you've talked about, you're not just putting baskets together, but it's actually you're going to the hospital. There's a difference between organizations that say, hey, we're going to check the box, we're going to donate to Leah's Baskets and we'll send baskets over. But actually having your team members leave the office, which, like you said, is time, and time is not cheap, on top of the personal impact that handing this to somebody, being present, and I don't know, maybe you are bedside with them if you have access to that, but talk about maybe kind of the feels that you get or the experience you get from actually showing up and providing these versus just slapping a label on it and shipping it off.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, being a father, I have a 8-year-old daughter and 11-year-old son, so I couldn't imagine them being in that situation, and I can imagine the stress as a parent. So
Mhm.
just kind of being able just to hand those off to the parents, and the parents get it delivered to their kids, or however we give it to them.
Yeah.
It's a magical thing. And I'm the one sitting here, but it is our whole team, as they can have time to go and do it. I'm part of that organization, so I donate my time every time. But we have different team members that as we have time, they donate as much time as they can, and we do also have other like foundations that we personally, as Northstar Properties, go and help here locally in Norman. We help, with some of the cleanup and stuff like that as a team, and those are really good moments because you get to learn a lot about people.
Yeah, yeah. I have found from the conversations I've had with other leaders on here, it's more of the experience of donating that time or being present than the actual gesture of giving a basket. Like
Yeah,
that is what truly has the impact on individuals, which then creates a bigger purpose for those individuals within organizations, which leads to better morale, culture, all these different things within the organization. So I'll have to go look up Leah's Basket. If you want to after this, you can put their like website in the comments on this show, and maybe that'll allow some individuals to go and check them out. If there's
absolutely.
ways that you're driven towards finding ways to give back, let's go ahead and give them a shout out and throw their link in the comments when we're done with
Yeah,
this, Scott.
I'll get that, and you could personally reach out to me. I
Yeah,
can take motion straight up, and so any way you can get it to me or contact me,
we'll
or
make it
we'll take
happen.
whatever you got.
Time, money, and effort. I love it.
Okay, well, I go back on that. I go back, not anything you got, but talk to me first.
I can appreciate that. Well, let's talk more about North Star in general and some of the things, and maybe share kind of what you had talked about. I know early on, maybe there were some turnover concerns or issues early on, and you'd kind of stepped in, and things have grown. And I know our conversation was a while ago, so maybe
Yeah.
I'm hearing that wrong, but would love to just kind of talk about like what is it about Northstar that truly makes it more than a business?
Yeah, I mean, me on a personal side, like I came here from another multifamily business, and just the culture and what I heard around town about Northstar, I actually took a pay cut to come and work here, and I
Oh, okay.
never regretted it. I just like that. That's a statement for Northstar Properties. That's why I like to say it,
Mm,
not so much that I was making more. But anyways, so yeah, I mean, the mission statement is we strive to provide peace of mind for our residents, employees, and owners, because those three don't none of them can exist without the other. So we, understood, coming in that that was an important. So, understanding that the residents are number one, but the employees are number one too, because without the employees, the
mm,
residents aren't going to be happy.
for
And
sure.
for anybody that's worked in the multifamily industry, I've worked on different sides, but leasing and management and maintenance, it's tough. They're dealing with a lot of different emotions from people, different cultures. It's different every day. So they have it really hard, and it's nice to come in and try to make it easier for them.
I want to kind of hit on something you said right off the bat was the fact that you took a pay cut to come and work for North Star based off of what was in the water.
Yeah.
So often we sit and think that, it's all about the money side. And clearly, if it was all about the money side, this would have never actually happened. So,
Yeah.
what were some things that you had recognized that drew you towards it? And the reason I'm kind of diving into this, I think it's important for those that are tuning in to understand like you are a living example of somebody that it was not about the money. And oftentimes we think that's the leading driver, but it's not when studies show that it is absolutely not that. So,
Yeah.
maybe give us some insight on just your journey in that transition.
Yeah. I knew the people here I worked on the sales side of it, so I knew a lot of the property, I knew a lot of the managers. I was close to with them, and they were just like you go into some of these properties and you talk to the managers, and they're like therapists. They really are. They deal with a lot of people's emotions and hard times, and they
Yeah.
have to talk to them. And so it was nice communicating and just hearing what they thought about this company at Northstar Properties and dealing with the regionals. Jessica, Jess wasn't here at that time, but just seeing how they treated you as a salesperson, that told a lot. So uh,
Mhm.
when I saw that they had a marketing director or marketing manager role open, I reached out to Jessica right away because I recently owned a marketing company prior to this, so
Yeah.
it was a good fit, and then coming and sitting down with them, with Jessica and Eric, the president, and seeing where they were as a company as far as the marketing, which was little, but that's to say that they were still doing amazing. So with
Mm.
a little bit of help and a little bit of tweaking, and I mean, it wasn't a little bit of help, it was a lot of help, but we like a year later, it's been a great experience and coming into it very openly as far as, a normal like job interview. It was a very open communication because first thing I told them I'm a father first. So
Amen.
like, my time with my children and making it home for school, and because I live in Edmond or in Norman, it's about 35 or 40 minutes. So with
Yeah.
young kids, you want to make sure you're around. So they understood that, and it was family first. That was the thing that they told me, families first. And so that went a long way. And,
Yeah.
working here, it is, if you have a kid sick and they understand that things happen.
Mhm.
Compassion, because it's relatively a small company still. It's still family owned as far as multiple families, but it's
Yeah.
in the culture is what got me here.
So much of like what you've just mentioned is wrapped around, and I even said on my last episode, like the word empathy continues to show up of truly showing like our whole selves is not just, Scott the professional. I mean, there's Scott the dad, Scott the friend, Scott the previous business owner. Like, there's so many experiences that we have, and having empathy as a leader to understand and try and put your shoes or yourself in their shoes,
Mhm.
allows for just like that true trust factor to say, like, Scott, we realize you got a sick kid, and we're going to trust that, you need to go be a father right now, but we know you're going to get everything done that needs to get done because you're the right person for the right seat. And I just, like, this word empathy continues to show up over and over and over again in my life in the last few weeks. And even in this conversation right now is truly like they're being empathetic in the fact that you're a father first and of their word. And now you can, has the opportunity to say, like, I will take less money to be a part of a team that will truly care for me as a whole person and not just, you know, Scott, the marketing director at Northstar. I love hearing these stories, and it just goes to show some amazing, amazing companies out there waiting for that right person to come along.
Yeah,
Um, well, let's talk about you, Scott.
sure.
We talk about we enjoy this work that we do sometimes, and not every single day is going to be the absolute best day there is. I mean, even in Kansas City, like yesterday was just, kids are out of school for the parade. We're having this joyous moment. And I'm like, all right, when the parade's over, I'm going to go back to work and get this stuff done. And then, tragedy hits, and there's nothing left for me to give because my whole heart is over in this other area. And it's hard to be a leader in those moments or have answers. And I'm talking from a leader of the house, the father, the husband. What are the things that continue to motivate you to show up on bad days, personally, professionally, to continue to serve the people, both team members and tenants and property managers and all those individuals that are on your team? Like, what continues to motivate you to show up every day, man?
So again, I go back to the culture. It's you're not showing up here to lead them. It's a group effort here. So I'm privileged enough if I'm having a bad day that I can come in and I know I'm going to get support or uplifting
Yes.
from somebody else
Yes.
because I try to be that champion as much as I can, and I'm safe to say that. I think a lot of people would say that about me as well, but especially recently, I'm going through some life changes, and I do have bad days, and there's days you just don't
Mhm.
want to do it, but you understand like what it's for, because especially with like a company like Northstar, I know the faces of
Hmm.
everybody. So it's like, I know that this property needs this ad to be done so we can start getting a few more leases in there so they can start, filling those rooms, and they get a little bit better bonus, or, or giving people, 'cause we created a company store. So like, just my thing for, I turned 42 today, and
Hey, right. Oh, today's your birthday. Happy birthday, man.
put that in there. Yeah, so I turned 42 today, and so after 40, I've been here for about a year and a half, and after 40, I just kind of like, it was all about helping, and understanding
Mm.
that you're gonna and being okay with having bad days, and allowing yourself to ask for help, or get help from somebody else when you're used to being the help. So it's just a growth, that that passion is kind of sticks with you, and it becomes stronger because you're okay. You can ask for that help because you know that you
Mm.
have people around you here. If it's all the way down to just the maintenance guys, that they they're great guys, and you can go talk to them, and
Yeah.
you can help them, and they can help you, and it's about knowing people are there if you have something you need to talk about, and you know that you can openly talk about it with people, and it's just a great atmosphere.
I really appreciate you just being humble enough and showing that humility to say, like, other days I need other people to pick me up. Like,
Mm,
that's something we haven't necessarily talked about on this show. Like, so often we talk about having a culture where you can openly talk, or a leader saying, sometimes I don't have my whole self, but we don't talk about that as a leader in an organization. Sometimes we need our team members, both people we report to and others that report to us, to help us in those moments. And I think, obviously, Northstar really um, cultivates a place where that is the reality of it, and allows those individuals to pour into to you on those days that are not. Um, you got 20% to give. My wife and I so often talk about this idea, and I can't remember who started. It's probably Brene Brown, but it was this idea that, marriage is never, this 50-50. It's 100%. It's 100%. You have to give everything to each other. But there
Yeah.
are days when I only have 20% to give. And fortunately, my partner can see that and recognize that, because I've quite honestly told her, like, I am not there. And my wife wants to pick me up to cover the other 80%, to be 100% together. And I've never thought about that idea within the organization itself, saying, like, listen, I'm rocking on 35% today. I need somebody else to come in and pick up the other 65%, because maybe I'm not my best self. Or as a leader, we constantly think we have to have all the right answers because so many people are looking up to us. Quite honestly, like, some of the best ideas that have come from my business have been nothing that I said. It was from a customer or a team member.
Mhm. Like I said, I'm the one sitting here, so it's easy to talk about myself. But it's fun to see that, if there's a leasing manager that's having a bad time, and it's about, and we use Teams, so we have groups on there that they ask each other questions. I've never seen
Mhm.
a company and managers and leasing agents just bounce ideas so often around each other, just to make sure that everything that what their idea is, it's the best it can be.
Mm.
So there's no like, I'm right, this is how I'm doing it. It's like, hey, I think this is the right way. What do you guys think? And so there's a
Yeah.
lot of idea bouncing as far as just on the business side. But if there's a manager that's has a kid that's is sick for a couple days, and another manager from another property will help cover two properties without even question. So
Not
it's,
even asking, just
yeah, if there's a property it's backed up on some maintenance, the other guys are willing to go over there and just help out, just so they
wow.
can get that number down. And it's a lot of family here.
Yeah. Well, kudos to you guys for cultivating such a good family environment there. Scott, we are kind of reaching near the end of our time today. So, keeping things kind of moving. If anybody has questions and they want to learn more about you, Scott, and your story, or North Star, what's the best way for them to reach out and get a hold of you?
Probably just doing our social media channels.
Okay.
Me on LinkedIn. I have my own side, consulting, DreamPath Media and Consulting. So I do business and marketing consulting for small businesses. So you can find me on there. So I'm all over LinkedIn, especially.
Yeah, well, I'll also echo, if for whatever reason you can't reach Scott, shoot me a message. I'd be happy to make sure to get you guys connected from that side. Scott, as part of coming on our show, my wife and I always want to make sure we allow, to give a meal to you, to give to whoever you might see fit for needing a meal, both whether it's a celebratory event or maybe they're going through a tough time. But maybe tell us as much or as little as you can or will share about an individual you would like to gift this meal to.
You know, I'm gonna explain why I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna gift it to myself. There's two reasons there. There's two
This
reasons.
is a first. I can't wait to hear it. All right, let's go.
So there's two reasons. Because I'm very interested in what this thing is, because you and I kind of talked on the side about possible other areas. So I really want to dive into it. And two, I'm kind of recently cooking on my own now, and I don't like to do it. So I haven't had a really good dinner on my own expense, and it's my birthday. And
I love it, man.
so many people, I couldn't pick one.
I
So
love it. Well, we have had many people check it out themselves and then find that this is how I'm going to care for other people too.
oh,
So,
I
Scott, I wish you a happy birthday and look forward to sending that out your way. We'll get connected afterwards and make sure we can get that out to you here soon, man.
thank you so much.
Awesome, awesome. Well, yeah, we have definitely made it to the end of the show here, Scott. I do want to just give a shout out again to our sponsor, True Captive. Go and check them out at Scott, do you have any last words or recommendations you would like to give before I kind of lead us out of here?
Yeah, if you're struggling with anything, just people are willing to help. You just got to ask. And if you're struggling in a business, you have a small business, get a business coach. That saved me. So
Yeah, well,
coaching, coaching, coach,
preach.
get coach.
Absolutely preach. Yes. Yeah. Well, hey, Scott, I can't thank you enough for coming on and tuning in. So we'll be back next week on Thursday at 3 p.m. Central Time. We'll be here every single Thursday at 3 p.m. Central Time, interviewing individuals like Scott, great leaders within great organizations that are truly more than a business. So thank you for taking the time to come on, Scott. For any of you that tuned in today, thank you so much for coming on our show, and check us out again a little bit later with some future episodes coming up. But until then, stay safe and continue to strengthen your most valued relationships. We'll talk to you later.